Pokemon Go is too expensive to play. This is the feedback that I've been seeing very commonly among Pokemon Go players as of late. And this actually surprises me because when it comes to Pokemon Go, I've always viewed it as kind of like the gold standard when it comes to monetization, but that sentiment has definitely changed over the years. And I really do think we need to talk about this because we've reached a point of critical mass, and if Niantic does not change their ways, we're going to see the downfall of Pokemon Go. Hey, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go discussion video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's dive right into it. So for today, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Go and monetization within 2024. I really feel like this year was a good indicator for the direction that Niantic wants to go when it comes to this game. And it's not looking good. In my opinion, Pokemon Go is going down a terrible direction, and if Niantic does not change their ways, we're going to see this game crash and burn. I almost guarantee it. Now, this topic is definitely not new to my YouTube channel. I've definitely been very critical in the past regarding how Niantic has been monetizing their game, but I do think that for right now, it's getting to a point where the game is about to crash and burn. There's so many different examples out there within the game industry where improper monetization led to the downfall of big games, and I think Pokemon Go is heading in that direction. I really do think that for 2025, it's going to be a very critical year for Pokemon Go, especially when it comes to monetization. If Niantic does not change their ways, then this game is definitely going to crash and burn. I really do think it's important that we talk about this right now, because if we do not, and we just ignore everything that Niantic is currently doing, then I do think that for a lot of us who have spent so much time and so much energy and even so much money into this game, we're going to see all of that effort lost because the game is going to shut down. So the first thing I want to talk about is just how much Pokemon Go has changed over the years, because like I said, Pokemon Go used to be the gold standard when it came to monetization. You do not have to spend any money to get whatever Pokemon you wanted. And maybe the exception is Pokemon like Mew or Celebi or any of those Pokemon, because you had to buy a ticket for Pokemon Go Fest in order to get those Pokemon, but they were still essentially early access because later on down the road they would offer some sort of special research for you to get those Pokemon. Essentially every single piece of content within Pokemon Go was available for free, and the only thing that was monetized was the stuff that hardcore players cared about, whether it be perfect IVs for legendaries or maybe it was for PvP specific Pokemon. You would have to spend money for a lot of that content. But for the average player, for the casual player who just simply wanted to complete their Pokedex, it was all completely possible if you just simply played the game. And this was something that I really enjoyed about Pokemon Go because their main emphasis was on the player experience rather than how much money they could squeeze out of their players. But for the most part, within the last couple of years, that has completely flipped 180. Now it's all about how much money they can make rather than giving us very positive experiences, and pretty much everything that they add into Pokemon Go, whether it be new Pokemon, new shinies, or even new gameplay features, it's all very heavily monetized. And because of that, a lot of players are starting to get fed up with the game, and I really do think that if Niantic continues to do this, it's going to produce a mass exodus of Pokemon Go players. I think a lot of players may not realize this, but a lot of the bonuses that they offer from those research tickets and all the tickets that they have with every single in-game event, that's all stuff that we used to get for free. I mean, think about this Expedition Access ticket or even this Holiday Part 2 ticket where you get a free incubator every single day. This was something that they offered for free in the past. With holiday events, it was always something that was a way for them to show appreciation for their players, and it was something for players to enjoy during the holiday break. But now it's something you have to pay for. It's egregious. It's stuff that should be free in the game. It's stuff that should have been included with the holiday event bonuses. But now it's all paywalled. It's all stuff you have to pay for. And I think for a lot of longtime players like myself, it's stuff that's very apparent. For a lot of newer players, they may not realize that a lot of the stuff that they're currently paying for was stuff that they could have gotten for free if the game was still like how it used to be. And yeah, in my opinion, that's incredibly predatory, and it just goes to show that Niantic has completely lost touch with the Pokemon Go player base, and all they really care about is making as much money as they can from their Pokemon Go players. And another thing regarding monetization that has been extremely egregious, especially in 2024, is how much they're paywalling a lot of the new Pokemon and new shinies that we could get with every single in-game event. Whenever they introduce a new shiny, it seems like the only way you can get it is going to be through hatching eggs, or it's going to be through raid battles. It's been a very long time since you've been able to just farm up new shinies from just catching Pokemon in the wild, and I think for a lot of players, this is something that they're just absolutely not enjoying. I mean, just think about every single in-game event announcement. The main complaint that a lot of people have is just how much you have to spend in order to get the new shiny or the new Pokemon. And some of these new Pokemon are actually gameplay relevant, so that essentially makes it pay to win. I think for a lot of people, this was very apparent when they released Galarian Corsola, because the only way you could get Galarian Corsola was through hatching 7-kilometer eggs. I think the big thing here is that Niantic needs to understand that Pokemon Go players are not stupid. We all used to have this stuff for free, and we can totally see it. And for a lot of the things that they've been trying out as of late, it's just not hitting with the Pokemon Go community. Like, for example, with Dynamax battles and Gigantamax battles, the fact that you have to purchase these max mushrooms in order to have a chance at some of these very difficult battles, yeah, a lot of players are going to see that as incredibly predatory, because you need to have 40 people to complete a Gigantamax battle. That's incredibly difficult in and of itself, but if you purchase these max mushrooms, then yeah, maybe you'll have a much easier time, and you do not need as many trainers as you typically would. That stuff is very predatory. It's all stuff that's pay to win. It's all stuff that you see in games that are not popular. It's a lot of things that players just simply do not like. Niantic needs to understand this. We're not just going to be money printing machines. A lot of us just want to enjoy Pokemon Go the way that it's meant to be, where you go out and explore, you catch a whole bunch of different Pokemon, and you build up your collection of Pokemon and find a lot of satisfaction in that way. And maybe sometimes we will want to get ourselves a hundo of a specific Pokemon, and yeah, that's going to encourage us to spend some money to buy incubators and raid passes. But the way Niantic has it set up right now, it's not even possible to complete a Pokedex unless you spend a whole bunch of money, and I really do think this is the big thing that needs to change in 2025. So yeah, it goes without question that Pokemon Go is not in a good place when it comes to monetization, and this is something that Niantic definitely needs to course correct, because a lot of people that I talk to, they just feel very fed up with how Niantic has been handling Pokemon Go. A lot of people perceive Niantic as just disrespecting the Pokemon IP, they just simply do not get it, and it just seems like Niantic is just out of touch with their own game. They just see us as data points, and they just see us as a means to an end, rather than caring about the player experience, rather than giving us a lot of exciting and really fresh content. They're just focusing on the wrong things. They're just focusing on how much money they can make from us rather than giving us great content to encourage us to spend. It just really seems bad, and I really do hope things change, because Pokemon Go is going down a path where it's eventually going to come to an end. And yeah, that's not something I would want for this game. I really want this game to be successful. As a longtime fan of the Pokemon franchise, I really want this game to succeed. It fulfills a lot of the fantasies that we've all had as kids playing Pokemon games, that we wanted to become Pokemon trainers in the real world, and this game allowed us to do that. But the way Niantic has been handling Pokemon Go and the way that the game has been monetized, it just seems like for a lot of us, this game is just more of a negative experience rather than a positive experience. And I want that to change. I really want this game to be successful. I want Pokemon Go to be a very positive experience, and I want Niantic to understand that players want this game to be a positive experience. Really, I just want Niantic to start respecting their players, and I really want them to respect the Pokemon IP. And the best way they could do that is by fixing a lot of their monetization practices. So yeah, that's essentially going to be it. I just wanted to share my thoughts regarding everything that happened in 2024 regarding monetization. And I really do think that for what it's worth, we need to keep discussing this if we really want this game to succeed. So yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.